Hi everyone, I'm Kat and welcome to my channel, Naturally Beautiful Girl. So today I am finally bringing you a review of Range Beauty. I was talking about Range Beauty and their foundation in my July favorites video. I will link that up above, but I gave you a short overview, and the spoiler alert is I really like the foundation, but I did pick up some other products, including their setting powder, one of their, I would call it a highlighter, that's how I use it, but like a highlighting powder, and then their body oil. Of course, during the course of this video, I will be demoing the application of the products and sharing with you all my thoughts. So let's go ahead and jump right in. So Range Beauty is a Black-owned clean makeup brand, and what product they really are known for is their foundation. I have to give credit to Caroline from Cosmetics by Caroline, because I saw her talking about the brand, and as soon as I heard her talking about it, I had to run out and try it. And what really grabbed me about this brand is that obviously the idea behind Range Beauty is to have a very inclusive shade range of foundations, but also a very sensitive foundation that would work because the founder suffered from eczema and also has acne prone skin, and she wanted a foundation that would work with her skin type. And I don't know, but I saw like a foundation made for acne prone skin. And I was like, I gotta go run and try this out because I have acne prone skin. During this whole like quarantine stay at home, I haven't been wearing foundation every day because I have not been going out into the world. And some days I have Zoom calls, some days I don't. If I have Zoom calls, I'm wearing a foundation. But if I don't, then I don't. And I kind of have come to realize that I think some foundations I've been using have been breaking me out. And so I really have been kind of embracing the idea of not wearing as much foundation and really having a foundation that was designed in such a way as to work really well in acne prone skin really, really spoke to me. So I wanted to try it out. And honestly, I was just so curious that I also picked up a few other products from the brand as well. But let's start off by talking about the foundation. Well, actually, before I start off talking about the foundation, I should give a disclaimer. This is a smaller indie brand, and it took me forever to get these products. They have been going in and out of stock, and I caught them when they were in stock, but just like the whole fulfillment of the order and then the shipping took forever. But right now, especially if anything gets shipped with USPS, it is moving at like a glacial pace. There was quite a delay between the order though and it even shipping out. And I think it's just the brand got like so much exposure recently with everything that's happening, which is really awesome for the brand. But I think there's a lot of growing pains with it, and the brand just trying to figure out like how to actually manage all these orders. So just be patient. I just want to give that as a disclaimer because that is an experience I had ordering from the brand, but I did get my stuff. It all arrived. It just took a little while. So, and things are going in and out of stock on their website. So if you want to purchase something and it's not in stock, I signed up on their wait list and they notified me when it came back in stock, and I was able to happily purchase it. So if you really want to try out one of their products, I really recommend signing up for the wait list. It just makes your life a little bit easier. So there are 21 shades of the foundation. That's a really good number of shades. And I think what's most impressive about this shade range is it goes from like fair, like porcelain fair, to very deep. Like there's actually a good gradation of shades. It's not like 15 like light shades and then a couple deep shades. Like there's actually a good range and spread of the foundation. Is that enough shades for every single person to find their ideal foundation? Probably still not, but to me, what was absolutely mind-blowing about this foundation is it is a Black-owned brand, but they did a better job of coming up with a fair porcelain shade than most other brands in the clean beauty space. And actually it's a smidge light for me, but I honestly prefer that. I would much rather work with a foundation that's a little light and then just add a little bit of color back with like blush and bronzer and that kind of direction. It's really a lot harder to take a foundation that's like a little bit too dark and then try and get that to work. So I prefer the way the foundation is to run a little bit light, but it's just mind-blowing. Like this shade is a much better match than most other foundations that I do use. So if you have really, really porcelain skin, I can tell you that the shade, I have the lightest shade Paloma, and that is described as fair with neutral undertones, which I should also mention is very accurate. I appreciate that there is a super fair porcelain shade with actually neutral undertones. They do have fair with yellow undertones and also fair with cool undertones as well. But a lot of times the fairest shade will only come with cool undertones. And I actually come to realize I have pretty neutral undertones. Like, it's not super pink and it's not super yellow. It's just kind of neutral. And that's part of the reason why the shade match is so good. And then obviously if you have a deeper skin tone, there are a lot of options up in that deeper range as well. How I typically apply this foundation is I will take a pump and then dot it onto my face, and then I like to blend it out using a brush. I always use a brush to apply my foundation, and it worked really well for this foundation. And the one con I will say is, I've noticed this every single time I apply this foundation, is the packaging is beautiful. I don't even think I've held this up. This is a glass bottle and it's got a nice pump. And it's just a really nice, sleek packaging. It says Range Beauty on it. I think my camera is washing it out. There we go. So it just looks really nice. But the one downside with this packaging is the pump. When I do one pump of foundation, it is too much. Like, this foundation has quite a bit of coverage to it, and I don't actually need a full pump of the foundation. But the way the pump is designed, I can't do like half a pump. I just have to do a pump, and then I have too much, and then I need to like go and rinse some off my hand because it's just more foundation than you need. I wish I didn't pump out extra because it's a little bit wasteful. I do, however, really like the coverage of this foundation. It is not full coverage, but I would say it's like medium coverage. It has a very good level of coverage, and it definitely is buildable. But what I really like about this foundation is, even though it does have a pretty high level of coverage, it still looks very natural. It gives you very much a skin-like finish. I would say this foundation for me is not at all dewy. It's definitely more on the matte side. I'm putting it in quotations because it's a more matte foundation, but it's not one of those like matte foundations. I don't even like using the word matte to describe foundation sometimes because I feel like it gives this connotation of a foundation being really dry, being really cakey, but this foundation is the complete opposite. It just dries down to like a very, it's not dewy finish. Like, that's the best way I can describe it. It's not dewy. And the only other word I can think of is like skin-like or matte. It just kind of matches like how my skin looks normally. And it just looks very natural. I don't know what it is about this foundation, but it just looks beautiful on my skin. Like, there are some foundations I've tried. There are a lot of foundations I like, but there are very few that I would just say like look really, really good on my skin. And this one definitely falls in this category of it just looks really good. I do have oily skin. I don't have any dry patches right now because it is the middle of summer. So I don't know entirely how it would look if you had drier skin or dry patches, but for me and my skin type, like, this stuff is beautiful. And to make this foundation even better, it wears amazingly on my skin. So I have oily skin. It is summer right now. It is very hot. I keep mentioning this. I don't have air conditioner. So during the day, it gets really, really hot in my apartment, and I really have been putting products to the test. And this foundation, yes, I do get oily, but it looks so nice. Like, yes, it gets a little bit more glowy as the day goes on, but it's not breaking apart. It's not sliding around. It's staying in place. And I would rank it as one of the best, like, long-lasting foundations for me. I know many of you probably already saw my favorites video, but I have to say, like, this has risen to the top of being one of my all-time favorite clean beauty foundations. If any of this sounds like a foundation you would like, I highly recommend you check it out. I should also mention, it hasn't been irritating my skin in any way. I haven't been getting any breakouts from it. It just works really, really, really well. And I really am happy to be able to recommend it too, because there's a really good shade range. Like, I feel like there's a very good chance of someone being actually able to find their shade. I have to say, I was thinking about it this morning when I was putting it on. I am dying for them to come out with a concealer. Like, I'm already like, when are you coming out with a concealer? Because we need a concealer to go with this foundation, because this is so good. I can imagine how good a concealer could be, and especially with that shade range for a concealer. Oh, range, if you're watching, come out with a concealer, because we are waiting for that. Okay, so I'm gonna move on, and the next product I'm gonna talk about is the Range Beauty Smooth Out Translucent Setting Powder. So this is their setting powder. It does come with a locking sifter. I did get the shade Light, and as you will see, the light shade it's got a slight tint to it. It's pretty close to my skin tone, to be honest. And I think the idea behind tinting this, even though it is a translucent powder, is just to prevent any white cast, especially if you have a deeper skin tone. That can be a really large problem. So oh, I should also mention, I forgot to mention this, there's samples of the foundation as well. So if you are curious about shade matching yourself, you can pick up samples of the foundation. I would recommend that. I just was like, I'm probably the lightest shade. And I was the lightest shade, so it's pretty easy for me, but because if the lightest shade doesn't work, that's normally kind of the end of the rope for me. But if you are a little bit more unsure of what your foundation shade might be, I would recommend picking up some samples. Okay, so with the setting powder, back to the setting powder, there are 4 shades. There's light, golden, medium, and deep. And this is a smooth out translucent setting powder. I have the shade light, so this is the lightest shade. And I did go ahead and I set my face with this. I didn't set under my eyes today. And the reason why is I have been testing this powder under my eyes and I don't like it. And I didn't want to put it on today because it just does not work well and it doesn't look good. And you guys are gonna have to take my word for it. I just was not in the mood to have messed up concealer today because the foundation is so nice and I can get such a nice face of makeup going. I just didn't want to ruin it with messed up concealer. I have very oily skin, I've mentioned this, and I've noticed that concealer under my eyes really tends to crease a lot, and I have to have really heavy duty setting powder to get everything to stay in place. I've been using the 14D setting powder, that's my ride or die. I also really been enjoying the Honest Beauty setting powder. I've been testing out the Root, what is it called? The Root Super Matte Setting Silk. That's what I used today. Still on the fence about that one, but this one, I definitely know I don't like. For me, under my eyes, it just doesn't set enough. And it also, because it's tinted, tends to darken my concealer a little bit, and I have to use a very light shade of concealer to actually brighten under my eyes. And the combination of it just like not actually setting and holding things in place well enough, and then also with the darkening, I just don't like it. For instance, when I put this setting powder on my eyes, my concealer still feels tacky and it will just move around and crease on me horribly throughout the day. I've tried it with different concealers. It's not the concealer, it's definitely the setting powder because for instance, my Saint Cosmetics concealer, I use that one all the time, no problem. But when I get it paired up with this, it's not a good combination. However, I do really like it for setting my face. So I normally use my Clove and Tallow powder foundation usually to set my face. However, when I do that, it adds more pigmentation. And what's really nice about this is, yes, it's slightly tinted so it doesn't white cast you, but it doesn't add any more pigment. So especially with the Range Beauty foundation, which is a pretty high coverage foundation, I can just use this, I set it, and then it sets everything, but it doesn't add and build a lot more coverage. So if you want an actual translucent setting powder to set your face, this does work really well and I do enjoy using this. Do I prefer using a pressed powder? Yes, I just prefer the ease of use, the lack of mess. However, it does have a locking sifter, so it's pretty good. And I think especially if you're struggling and have a deeper skin tone, to find a translucent powder that doesn't like white cast you, I think that this could be a good option for me and my skin type. I can't use it under my eyes. It does work really well under my face. Do I like it? Will I continue using it? Yes, but is it my like all-time favorite setting powder? Front of the eyes, no, but for the face, I really do like it and it does work well. It does give me enough hold on my face. I don't know, I guess my under eyes are just like really prone to creasing and really need some heavy duty setting. But for the rest of my face, this is quite good. And like I said, it's been hot, my skin's been getting really oily, been sweating, and it still holds up well. So the next product, it's labeled as a dual eye highlight. So there are 5 different shades of this product. And I chose the shade Golden Hour, and I thought I could use this as a highlighter. That's what I did today. So I have it on my cheekbones, and I also dabbed it into the corner of my eye. I forgot to film putting it in the corner of my eye, but it's there in case you're curious. And it is, it does come in a locking sifter. It's really cute packaging. The packaging of this, it's much smaller than the translucent setting powder, but it's also much cuter. It's in this like little square. I don't know. I like it. So I did mention it has a locking sifter. Okay, so this is a loose highlighter. And this is another thing I've come to realize through trying a lot of clean beauty over the past 4 years. Yes, I've had my channel for 4 years now. I've realized that loose highlighters can be a little touch and go because it is really easy to pick up too much product. And I kind of forgot about that because I've been using mostly like cream or pressed highlighters. I've really moved away from loose highlighters. I feel like when I started, there were a lot of loose highlighters, and part of that was just because you didn't have a lot of options in clean beauty. Like I still think back to when I started and the number of options that were available then compared to now, it's just like a huge, huge change over those 4 years. And so at first I was just using loose highlighters, like the Root White Gold highlighter, because that's White Gold Illuminator, because that's what we had access to. However, now we have a lot of other options. And one of the problems with this, with a loose highlighter, is you can really pick up a lot of product on the brush really easily. And that can lead to you getting a little bit too much highlight. And that actually did happen to me today. You can correct the situation. I grabbed my powder brush, so the brush I used to apply the translucent setting powder, and I just kind of blended along where the highlighter was, and I got it blended out to a pretty good level. I think it looks nice now. I've got a nice glow going, but I don't look like I have like a disco ball streak on my face. So this shade, I'm gonna swatch this for you. So I should mention this product comes in a quite wide range. I mean, there's only 5 shades, but it does come in it's like a number of different colors. It's not all just like the same color over and over. So there are various options for this product. Okay, so I've got it swatched. It's for some reason just not wanting to show up on my hand. It's showing up better on my face. I've got it swatched right here on my hand, and it does give a really nice glow. So the nice thing about this product is it's not at all chunky or glittery. Like it's definitely a highlighter that's kind of more of just like a glow, which I really like. I don't want to see like a chunk of glitter on my face. However, even though it looks white, like in the container, it definitely reflects gold, and it's a smidge too gold for me and my skin tone. This was the lightest shade of this product. However, I would have liked to have seen something a little bit more icy, so something that went a little bit more like silver or pink toned. Actually more silver. I prefer an icy highlight, and that I feel like would work better for my skin tone. However, yeah, this is what I have. So I think it's a really nice product. Is it, like, once again, is it my favorite out of the line? No, like the foundation is so much of a favorite. This one doesn't quite hit it for me. However, because there is such a range of shades of this product, I feel like especially if you have a skin tone where you feel like you can't find a highlighter or struggle to find one that you find flattering, I feel like you could have some really good options with this, especially if you have a deeper skin tone. Just for me, and like it being a loose powder and then being a little bit gold, it's just not my favorite, but it does work well, and it is a really pretty product. I mean, you'll have to let me know in the comment section down below how my highlight is looking, but I think it's looking pretty good. They did have a primer, and I didn't pick that up because it was like a bronzing primer, and just with me and my skin tone, like I realized that product was just not going to work well for me. So the final product I did pick up was their Body Glow, and I definitely was influenced to buy this product just from how beautiful it looks. Like, look at it in the bottle. And I'm gonna explain my thoughts on this, but part of this is a little bit my own fault. I don't really use products like this, and I was just like, this is so beautiful. I want to have a beautiful golden glow on my skin, because I don't know if you've noticed, but I am like a sheet of paper, and I, especially with being staying inside all the time, like I am not seeing the sun. I mean, I always wear sunscreen, so I don't really see the sun anyway, but like I'm not going out at all either. So I was like, okay, like this would be such a beautiful product. I'll put it on and it'll just give me this beautiful glow. And part of this too are the pictures that I saw online of this product. Like it looked so beautiful on so many people. However, I should have thought about this, but I did not think about this, that this product, all the pictures I saw of it being used were on a much deeper skin tone than mine. So I'm going to give my caveat that I think you would really love this product if you have a deeper skin tone. However, for my skin tone, it just was not that amazing. I'm gonna drop some out here on my hand. It does come in a dropper bottle. Okay, so here's what it looks like. And you can see it catching the light. When I blend it out on my hand, okay, so we've got it blended out here. And it feels like a very nice oil. Like it absorbs in nicely. Like this is all good. But when I look at it, like, yes, it catches the light, but it doesn't really catch the light a lot more than if I were to just put an oil on that left my skin feeling moisturized. Like that's my complaint. I guess it's not really a complaint, but that's my thoughts on this product, is that just with my skin tone and the color of it, it just doesn't really do much for me. Like it just looks like my skin is nice and hydrated in that spot. I was expecting like, I mean, this is probably my own fault. I was expecting like a warm, bronzy summer glow, and I don't get it. And I think it really is my skin tone. I think if you have a deeper skin tone, that this could be an amazing product. Because let me tell you, the pictures of this on their Instagram, you would be sold on it too if you saw the pictures of it being demonstrated on their Instagram. However, for me, it's just like a little lackluster, and I really do think it is me and my like ghostly skin tone. What it ended up being like did not match my expectations. So overall, what do I think of the brand? Amazing foundation, one of the best foundations I've ever used in clean beauty, and the other three products are all fine. Like they're just not my favorites. I don't want this video to come off negative at all, because I think that this is a really innovative brand. I think they are 100% heading in the right direction. I think we should all be supporting them. I am super excited to see like what things they come up with next, hopefully a concealer. But I think they're definitely heading in the right direction. I don't ever want you to feel like I'm pushing you to purchase something. I want to give you my honest thoughts and opinions on products. But I have to say, like, if you are in the market for a foundation, I really highly recommend checking out this brand, because I think it's just a really good brand to be supporting. I think they're doing really important things and heading in a really good direction. And we could use more brands like that in the clean beauty space, because think about this brand and think about if we could get it in Sephora. Think about if we could get it in Ulta. Think about if we could get it at Credo and Detox Market. Like, we want this brand to be really accessible, and I think that would be awesome. So I definitely love the foundation. The other three products, I can see who it would work better for. I think part of it is just my skin tone and like in my preferences. I like the translucent powder. I'll definitely keep using that. The highlighter, I probably won't reach for that much, but I do think, like I said, it's a fine highlighter. And the oil I will definitely use up, but it just didn't quite meet my expectations. And part of that just may be my own fault and not really fully understanding what this product was going to be like. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up. And of course, subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on any more clean beauty content, and click the bell button so you are notified of when I post new videos. And come follow me on Instagram. I'm at naturallybeautifulgirlkat to see more of me there. And let us know in the comment section down below, are you planning to pick up some products from Range Beauty? Let us know your thoughts. And once again, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.